All right, all right, all right. How we feeling? How we doing? Another beautiful, blessed evening. It's been another beautiful, blessed day. And I want to come in tonight and I want to speak on how it would look like if black men really came together, stood up against the oppressors, and avenged the deaths of those who have fallen victim to what we like to call white supremacy. What would it look like if we delivered George Zimmerman's head on a platter to the parents of Trayvon Martin? What would it look like if we avenged the deaths of Sandra Bland and Mike Brown and Tamir Rice? What would it look like if today black men picked up guns, machetes, rifles, the whole shebang, got on the front line and really started fighting back? What would it look like? What would really happen? I'm going to tell you what would happen. Bloodshed, revolution, and war. So you got a lot of people out there trying to push the black man onto the front line, telling him to fight back, trying to convince the black man that he's weak because, he don't stand up for his children, he don't stand up for his women. But what would it look like if he did? Like I said, it would look like all-out war. So for the people that's trying to push the black man out onto the forefront, you have to ask yourself, are you ready for that reality? Or do you just want a better job, higher education in their institutions? Or do you just, want a pair of new Jordans, a new blouse, or do you want to get lined up, this Friday, get your beard looking right, What would it really look like? You wouldn't have time to do none of that shit. So I want to come in, I want to say this first and foremost, that in order for black people to be truly liberated, truly free, and be in a position to where they can control themselves and not be controlled by outside entities, and not be bullied, and not be punked, and not have their children and women unjustly beat, and not being able to do nothing about it. The only way we can get in that right position is if we stop following the rules of the oppressors. So while people were trying to push the black man to the front line, they don't even want to stop paying taxes, right? They don't even want to stop listening to the police. And we are not going to get anywhere until we stop following their rules. Real sovereign people who have their own nation do not follow the rules of outside forces. So while you're trying to push the black man onto the forefront, hoping that you can get a better car and shit, first start by not following their rules. And when you start to not follow their rules, you'll see how revolutionary that is, and how they're going to want to try to shoot you and kill you and throw you in prison just for not following their rules. So imagine what's going to happen when you start picking up guns and weapons and shooting back at them. I want to come in, I want to speak on this, because a lot of our people are not ready for no real war, no real revolution. We think that, by going to school, getting a better job, by being good citizens and taxpayers and, following the law, we think that's how we're going to get real, true freedom and liberation. And as long as we just start working hard like other immigrants who come to America, that, everything is going to be all right. And, we can have our own sovereignty, our own nation. And, we can stop getting bullied by the cowards that be. And, we can start getting justice. And, as long as we start working harder and shit, right? Wrong. Because the way that they took our shit and the way that they took the land was by force. They snatched niggas from Africa, made them work by force. They knocked off the indigenous people here in the United States by force, and they took their shit. And the only way you're going to get back anything that they took from you is by taking it back. And you got to start by not following their fucking rules. That's the easiest part, not following their rules. And let me go down this other route, and let me use the Jews for this example, the Jews in Germany. The Jews in Germany was following the rules. The Jews in Germany, they wasn't pulling out no guns. They wasn't doing none of that. They were just excelling in society so much that the Germans started getting hatred. So they wanted to extinguish the Jews. The Jews are doing this, the Jews are doing that. Really, the Jews were just unified and they were working together and shit. So they were excelling above the Germans. But see, even though they were excelling in that society, they still got their ass put in concentration camps and extinguished. So it don't matter if black people excel in America. The moment that they really start to excel in America, it's going to be war and bloodshed as well. Because they're not for them to just let you take over their shit that they have taken by force and passed down to their children generation after generation after generation. They're not going to just let you have it without a fight. And they're going to fight real good. So to the black women that's trying to push the black man onto the forefront of the war, and you know, are you ready to get wounded yourself, black woman? Are you ready to nurse wounds? Are you ready to, and if you mad right now because people, you know, if you mad right now because the black man ain't taking care of his children, imagine what's going to happen when he go to war. Ain't going to be nobody, you complaining right now. You're not even at real war. The black woman is not even at real war right now, and she complaining about the black man not being there to take care of his children. So when he go to war, guess what? He ain't going to be to come back home at night. Black people don't want war. They don't want revolution. They want comfort. We want comfort and we want security. Let's keep it real. And before we even, you know, just get to the point of not following any laws, we got to be unified enough. I heard King Noble use a analogy once. He said, when you free a bird, you don't give it any restrictions or limitations or laws and say you got to be back by this time, and you know, in order to fly over here you got to have this passport. When you free, and you don't follow nobody rules except for your own, that's made by your own. So black people are not free, because if we decide not to pay taxes, and we decided not to listen to the police, if we decided not to follow the laws, then you will see just how not free you are. So if you're not ready to break the law, if you're not ready to go to war, then stop blaming the black man or whatever other black person you want to blame for all the woes of black people in the Western Hemisphere. Black people ain't afraid of no damn Bible, no damn book. That's not what's holding us back. That's not what's oppressing us. Black people are afraid to break the law. Period. That's our only problem. Outside of, you know, not being able to unify. Our only problem is the fact that we're afraid to break the law. Whether it's in a simple way or whether it's in a, I'm going to put this gun in your face and demand freedom way. Whichever way, black people are afraid to break the law. So you can make as many videos, we can make as many videos we want to make on YouTube. We can complain, we can do all that shit. But until we start breaking the law of the criminals who make laws for us to follow, and ain't no criminal gonna make laws for you to be liberated. But until we break them laws, there ain't no fucking real freedom. Your freedoms are limited under the law by the foreign invading troops who have been in America so long that we accept it and we think it's normal. That's my message for tonight. Live abundance and wealth, true talk and true thoughts. I don't want to hear nothing about being no gods. No, none of that shit. Our religion it's empowering us. If you ain't using that power to really be free, if we're not going to do that, then none of it matters. And we might as well just wait for the world to end, which it will. And then re-begin. But I'll speak about that later. Yeah.